Hey everyone, and welcome back to Innova Insights. Today we are looking into something pretty wild, like straight out of science fiction, right? We're talking robots.
Hmm.
But robots who learn from dreams.
Dreams created by AI, to be exact.
Whoa, okay, so
Yeah.
hold on. Are we talking like robot subconscious, or is this something else entirely?
It's not quite subconscious in the way we think about it, but the researchers at MIT over at their Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence lab, they've come up with this
Oh
system.
yeah, I read something about that.
Yeah, it's called Lucid Sim, and it basically builds these incredibly realistic virtual environments. It's like training montages you see in movies, but amped up to like 11
For robots.
for robots.
Okay, so robots are basically sleeping on the job,
Yeah.
but getting better at what they do.
Not sleeping, exactly. But the idea is that you're taking this robot and putting it in a world where it can learn and train without any of the, real world consequences.
Right, because one of the big things with robots has always been getting them to adapt to new situations.
Exactly. I mean, deep learning has helped a lot, but robots still need so much data to really learn effectively.
Like, it's not just about teaching a robot to follow instructions. It's about teaching them to think on their feet, right?
Precisely. And traditionally, that meant setting up all these scenarios in the real world for robots to learn from, which is so time-consuming, it's expensive, and you just can't generate as much data.
I mean, yeah, makes sense why a virtual world would be appealing. Less risk of a robot apocalypse while they're still learning the ropes, right?
But how does Lucid Sim actually work? Is it like building a video game for robots?
It's similar in some ways, but it uses, like, three really big technologies altogether.
Okay, lay it on me.
So first, there's the physics simulator. That creates a realistic environment. So, like, gravity works like it should, objects behave the way they should.
So if a robot kicks a virtual ball in this world, it'll bounce and roll like it would in the real world.
Yes. And then they add in generative AI to create all the details, the textures, lighting, all the things that make it almost indistinguishable from reality. Wow. But how do they control what the AI creates? It seems like it would be chaotic.
That's where large language models come in, like the kind behind ChatGPT. Researchers use them to write detailed prompts to guide what gets created in the virtual world.
Okay, so it's like they're giving the AI a script for what kind of virtual world to build.
Exactly. And within that world, they can create basically any scenario. A robot navigating a busy street, or a robot learning to cook. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, so where do the dreams fit into all of this?
So it starts with an image, an AI-generated image of a challenging scenario. Let's say a robot trying to climb over rubble.
Okay, I can picture that.
And then Lucid Sim uses this technique called dreams in motion, and basically it turns that static image into a short video.
So it's like watching a sped-up movie in the robot's mind of it overcoming this obstacle.
Exactly. And by experiencing these challenges over and over virtually, the robot learns way faster than if it just watched a demonstration in real life.
That's so cool, but does it actually translate to real-world skills?
It does. They actually trained a robot dog to do parkour using Lucid Sim.
No way. Like backflips and everything?
Well, no backflips,
Yeah.
but pretty close. And they compared it to a robot dog that learned by watching an expert robot dog in the real world.
Okay, and which one learned better?
The one that used Lucid Sim, way better, like 88% success rate compared to like 15% for the one that learned from just watching.
Whoa, okay, so the robot that learned from dreams was actually way better than the one that learned from a real-life expert.
And they did it with like half the amount of data.
That's insane. So, less data, better results. What's the secret?
Well, it's not really a secret. It's about the advantages that a virtual world offers. The robot can try and fail as many times as it needs to without any real-world consequences.
Makes sense. Like a robot training montage, but in a computer, and with way less risk.
Yeah, and that's a huge part of learning really complex skills. And it's not just about, the robot breaking something.
Right.
In the virtual world, they can tweak things, change the gravity, the lighting, add unexpected stuff, really push the robots to their limits, but in a safe way.
I mean, yeah, it's like a boot camp, but in a computer. So does that mean, like, we're making robots train in a perfect world?
Well, it's not about being perfect. It's more about striking that balance.
Yeah.
Between realism and control. They don't want to make a perfect replica.
Right.
It has to be challenging enough for the robots to learn how to be adaptable.
Like a virtual trial by fire.
Exactly. They have to add in some randomness, changing where things are, how slippery a surface is, even adding weather.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's not all sunshine and rainbows in robot dreamland.
Nope. So besides parkour, are you curious what else they're trying with Lucid Sim?
I mean, yeah, of course. Lay it on me.
Well, imagine robots that can navigate disaster zones,
Hmm.
looking for survivors, or even exploring other planets.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's way more intense than parkour.
Yeah, those are places that are way too dangerous for humans.
But robots could, theoretically, train for that in these simulations.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early, but the possibilities are huge.
It sounds like Lucid Sim could really change how we use robots.
Yeah.
But there have to be ethical things to consider too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like, they have to be very careful about the data they use to train these AI models to avoid bias.
Oh, yeah, that's important. Wouldn't want to create a bunch of biased robots. So
Uh-uh.
Lucid Sim is definitely a big deal.
Huge. It's a game changer, but it comes with a lot of responsibility.
And that's why it's important to talk about these things now before it's too late.
Exactly. We need to have these conversations, figure out how to use this tech responsibly and ethically.
Well said. So you mentioned earlier that they can create like any scenario. What's the craziest one you think they could come up with?
Oh, let me see. Oh, okay. How about a robot chef?
Okay, I like where this is going.
This robot has to make the perfect pizza,
I'm listening.
but it can only use ingredients it finds in, like, a post-apocalyptic wasteland. So think mutant cockroaches, radioactive mushrooms, maybe a sprinkle of crushed robot
Oh
parts.
my, okay. That's both terrifying and hilarious.
Right. It's ridiculous, but it shows how flexible Lucid Sim is.
It's like they're saying, throw anything at this robot chef, it can handle it.
Exactly. Who knows, maybe wasteland pizza will be the next big culinary trend.
I think I'll stick with my pepperoni,
Oh
thanks.
yeah, probably a good call.
I am not sure I will ever get that image out of my head. Wasteland pizza.
Yeah, that's a good word.
But really, this whole thing, robots learning in their dreams, that's wild. It feels like we're entering a whole new era for robotics, I mean.
We are, and it's
Yeah.
it's not just about making them, better or faster.
Right.
We are talking about giving robots abilities we can't even imagine yet.
And remember how we talked about that parkour experiment?
Yeah.
The robots trained with Lucid Sim, they were better than the ones who learned from an expert.
It was pretty amazing.
Doesn't that mean, like, they're becoming, I don't know, more intuitive, more creative even,
I mean, not creative in the way we think of it,
right?
but they're exploring so many solutions in these virtual worlds, solutions a human wouldn't even think of.
So they're not just mimicking, they're discovering new things.
Yeah. And because these virtual worlds are so realistic, they can really push the boundaries. Maybe even find new ways to move or interact that we never would have.
That's a little unnerving. It makes you wonder, are we making robots that'll be smarter than us someday?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Right.
But we're the ones designing them, setting the goals.
True. So maybe instead of worrying about robots taking over, we should be thinking about how they can help us.
Exactly. I mean, think about robots working in dangerous places, like helping with disasters or taking care of people.
Yeah, there are so many possibilities.
And those possibilities, they can make life better for everyone. That's what excites me the most.
I feel like I've learned so much
Me too.
about Lucid Sim, about robots, and about where things might be headed. It's mind-blowing for sure.
And hopefully everyone listening is feeling inspired.
To think about the future of, well, everything.
Yeah.
And, maybe you'll be the one to come up with the next big AI breakthrough. So keep learning, keep asking questions. This is Innova Insights signing off.